Hello folks, welcome back. May 8th. Today was a gorgeous day, finally. We've had a very wet, very cool spring. Today was in the low 60s. It was sunny all day. The bees were extremely active. So as I was going through and checking them all out, adding boxes, double checking for any queen cells, this week's going to be the first really warm, sunny, solid week. So I'm trying to stay ahead of them. Several of the hives all spring I've been pulling back the big ones and boosting up the smaller ones, kind of evening them out. Most of them are pretty even. I've got two hives that are just, even though I've pulled them back 3 times, they're really strong. So the hive over in the corner over there that's stacked up really good, I went into that one today and I knew that it was a very strong hive. I pulled it back 3 times. I was in it probably 2.5 weeks ago, and with the cool wet weather I just haven't really bothered them the last couple weeks. But I knew it was time that I had to make a decision. I had to do something with that hive. So it was either going to be I had to make a split if I found capped queen cells, or if they were just thinking about maybe starting some queen cells, I would do a Demaree. And if you've followed me very long, you probably saw the videos I did on them last year. It was probably, this video is going to be a little comical. The bees really got aggravated. It is a strong hive. It's a honey production hive. That's what you're trying to do. Build the population up as big as you can without them swarming. There's where your biggest honey production is going to be. So when I started out this morning, I started going through, pulled the first couple honey boxes off. They are full. I got down into the brood chamber, started going through, found the queen, pulled her aside, and at that point I only found one cell that had a little larva just started, probably 2-3 day old queen larva. So I went ahead and crushed that, went through the entire brood box, made sure there wasn't any other queen cells. Being that they hadn't really progressed, I decided to, instead of doing a split, to do a Demaree. So I left a a frame of capped brood, a frame of nectar with a lot of pollen on it. The rest of the frames I put in that bottom box, there were some drawn frames, there was some undrawn frames. I reintroduced the queen. Basically she has the field force coming in, and she had a few bees that were on the frames that I put in there. Suddenly the brood box is basically empty. There is no brood pheromone. So the field bees coming in suddenly are shocked. Hey, we've got our queen, but where's the brood? You're mimicking a swarming effect. Suddenly they don't have any brood. It kind of kicks them into overdrive. Now you take all of those brood frames, you put them all the way up on top. Put some queen excluders in between. You're keeping the queen at the bottom. She will go crazy laying that bottom box up again. You truly didn't hurt the population. I added 2 more honey supers. Again, I put the old brood box on the very top. All the nurse bees will hang out up there, take care of all those. I will have to go through that box to make sure they don't create any new queen cells. You can use that to your advantage to raise a queen in the top box if you want. This particular queen, I don't want any daughters off of her. They're just too defensive for my liking, and she will get replaced after the honey flow this spring. So I filmed it. The bees really got aggravated with me. I actually have a bee flying around me right now. That was several hours ago. I hope you enjoy it. If you have any questions or comments, leave them below, and I'll see you next time. Okay, so today is May 8th. Southern Ohio, sunny. First sunny day we've had in a week. 60 degrees. We're running 10 to 14 days behind on every development this year. It's been wet, it's been cool. Beautiful day today though. And as you can see, the bees are really going strong today. A lot of pollen and nectar coming in. I have not been in this hive for a little over 2 weeks. Last time I was in it, I pulled some brood out of. I have pulled brood out of this hive 3 times this spring to pull them back, trying to keep their strength within check and help boost some of the smaller ones. 2.5 to 3 weeks ago, I moved the queen down into the bottom box, put an excluder on, added an extra honey super. This one's hatched out and they've been backfilling it. So today we're going to go in and probably either do a vertical split or a Demaree over under. So I'm just going to see what's really going on. It depends on if they're trying to build queen cells, what they're thinking about doing, exactly what I end up doing on my decision side. So just kind of playing it by ear on this one. This is a strong hive. Again, I've pulled it back 3 times this year, and the old girl's doing pretty good. She was a June of last year hatch, so she's still a fairly young queen. So we're going to go in there, see if we can find her, see what they're exactly doing in that bottom box, make a decision from there. Okay, this hive can be a little feisty at times. I'm not going to say it's an aggressive hive, it's not. But it can be a little feisty and does a lot of headbutting at times. We'll see how they're doing today. Being that there's a nectar flow and it's a sunny day, they might not be too bad. But I am expecting a big population. So I'm going to put a little bit of smoke at the entrance. A little bit under the lid there. Breezy day today. Got an extra box over here ready to go. Again, I haven't been in here for at least, well, it's probably been 2.5 weeks. With all the wet, cool weather. Bees continue doing what they do. They are building a lot of fresh white wax, looks like. I'll put this out front here. I'm seeing a lot of white wax all the way to the edge. Let's see what they're doing up here. Real curious what they're doing in the next box down. Yeah. All the way to the outside frame, jammed full of nectar. And you can see that there is some fresh wax there. Clear out against the box, it is jammed. They definitely need another honey super today. I might even add 2. Depends on what's going on in the next box down. When I added this box, I actually under-supered. So this was an empty one, and this was partially full when I was in here last. So let's see what we got going on in the next box down. Try to be kind of gentle here. We don't want to... Well, that box is heavy too. That box is very heavy. They definitely need, I'm going to add 2 honey supers to this one, I think. I'm seeing white wax again 2.5 weeks ago. We've had a lot of wet, rainy weather. 2.5 weeks ago, this was an empty super. All the way out to the outside frames, full. Now the biggest nectar flow we have going right now is autumn olive. So the days they can get out, they're pounding it really hard. We're not even going to mess around with that box. We're just going to pull it off, set it aside, straight to the brood box. bet they're backfilling this brood box. I bet the queen is fighting for it. So we're going to have to definitely do something. Getting wound up now. The trick is finding the queen when we get down in there. A little snug here. There we go. Very gently, not knowing where that queen's at. Jam-packed full of nectar and pollen. Nectar on the backside. Okay, just to have room, I'll stick this over here also. So I got room to move these frames around. This was a brand new frame a couple weeks ago. They've got it 75% drawn out and absolutely packed full of pollen on this side. Nectar on the back side. This hive is absolutely packed. This frame is solid eggs and larvae. And I mean solid, all the way up to the very corners. And pollen on this side. Again, this hive is so packed it's going to be a challenge to find the queen. She is a marked queen, but she doesn't have a very big mark on her. I would say if I wasn't in this hive this weekend because of the warm sunny weather, they're packed enough they would be thinking about swarming. So I'll be curious whether I do find some swarm cells down in here now. Beautiful frame of brood. Here's one where they shove so much pollen in, the queen has to put brood where she can find, find a place to lay. As you can see, we're very calm on the comb. I'll move that frame out of the way. There's just so many bees. I don't want to take a chance of rolling the queen. A little bit of red pollen, most of it's yellow. Got some dry cups down here, nothing in them. Still not seeing the queen yet. So far, no indication of swarm cells. A lot of drone brood along the bottom of the frame here. A lot of pollen, a lot of larvae. A few queen cells at the bottom. I'll check them out, see if they're just cups or if they got something in them. There's my queen. Okay. Found the queen. So I know where she's at. I'm going very gently while I know she's on this frame. I'm going to check some of these cups out. Empty, empty. Empty, empty. Come out of there. Okay. We got a little bit of royal jelly. We got probably a 2 or 3 day old cup there. So they're into that. Okay, we got enough going on. It's time to move out. See where she went again. Did she go around to the other side? Yep, there she is. Okay. She is still big and plump. She hasn't even slowed down on laying yet. Okay, so she's nice and safe in the cage. Set her over here in the shade. I'm going to go through here and make sure there's no other queen cells. Like I said, I only found one that had anything in it so far. The rest of these have been dry. But we're going to have to add a lot of room to this hive. You're probably wondering, why am I doing what I'm doing? Why am I not maybe pulling some splits off of this one? Again, I pulled brood out of this thing 3 times this year. This is one of my honey production colonies. This colony should easily produce 120 pounds of honey for me this spring, if I can keep the bees in the box. No queen cells there. These are starting to get a little riled up. And no queen cells there. So, decision on the fly. I only found one queen cell that had anything in it. It was only a couple days old. So, I'm going to go ahead and do the Demaree on it. I'm going to probably pull a couple of these frames out, especially this one that was all sealed brood. Drop it down in this other box. Frame of food or pollen. There were some really good pollen frames. The rest of that's coming off of there. I'll reintroduce the queen with a lot of empty frames, some undrawn. That'll slow them down. The idea is I'm pulling all the open brood and nurse bees away, leaving the old queen with mostly field bees. And they will think that, hey, we're coming in, there's no open brood, we're not going to swarm. We can't, we don't have the population. Move the population up above several honey supers with some queen excluders. Population will still be there. Nurse bees will take care of the young. They will slowly emerge, filter back down through, and as we are entering the main nectar flow, hopefully we shift our mindset from swarming to hoarding instinct. So we're going to give it a try. It worked 50-50 for me last year. So we're trying it again. Let's see here. Okay, that riled them up. Instant brood box. Entry back on. Frame of heavily sealed, almost entirely sealed brood. One of these, some pollen in it. Put the pollen there. Drawn frame in. Introduce the queen. Yeah, they got fired up. Got stung in the wrist a couple times. This queen will get replaced this year. A little bit calmer hive. Okay, we're going to reintroduce our queen here. There she goes, right on down in there. Okay. Recap. One frame of sealed brood, a frame with pollen and a little bit of nectar. The rest of these are drawn frames, and then the outer ones here, I got 3 undrawn frames. So, queen excluder. I need a new honey super. Okay. 2 honey supers. Reassemble. Again, how many bees are in that? Drawback to this. My hive stand being as high as they are, which is easy for me to work, except for during the honey flow. This makes some really tall hives. And this is absolutely about as high as I can have a beehive on these stands. If things progress and I have to go higher, these are going to have to come down on a bottom board on the ground, basically. I might just have to do that here next week, because I surely can't see up in there. Now, again, the queen's down here, 2 empties, 2 full, bees stinging me in the wrist where I'm exposed, brood box, the old brood box. Remember, I had a couple of these frames over here. Mind you, I'm 6 feet 4 inches. You can see how tall this has gotten. Now, the only place that I'm exposed is on my wrists. I've taken 4 or 5 stings. So actually, not bad. I've been in a lot of hives today. The only stings I've had, but I haven't done this crazy of a maneuver. And some of my hives are actually quite calm, while others are a little bit like this. Make room for one more frame up there. Moving them frames around, really got them fired up again.